Heritage. Come morning, he won't even remember my name. Come midnight, we'll be washed of his every trace. The blood, pooling in moonlight, staining oceans empty of biology's brief mimicry. I said I love him because he too was born on the wrong side of a wall, perhaps in funeral quiet. This is the whitest he'll ever be. We thanked him for his service behind a makeshift altar. And what if gratitude isn't a thinning bloodline? His head, pillowed by flag of blood and star in life, he'd cook for us. He never let us leave empty-stomached. His brother grips my hand, asks, "What are you?" transfixes his eyes on the wounds I bulleted into my own face. All he knows of divinity was once heresy and clipped wing. In truth, had they known of the mouths I spoke a swollen history into, most men in my family would have wanted me dead, and I'd like to think this, its own forgiveness. Into the gardener's hands, both seed and floodwater, the expense of every bloom, a season of winded upheaval, because who else would know better this swallow and fang-sunk tongue? Because they've tasted their own pooling blood, I'd like to think my ancestors couldn't imagine me unwritten from their gospel. The ghosts that wear my name, not the exiles of another heaven inherited, because we too lost our countries before we lost our bodies. Every man I've held with pen was once capable of breaking me. We were never meant to survive this mythos. Forgive me. I'm running from this poem into another boy's arms, like we were never meant to survive this mythos. Every man I've held with palm was once capable of breaking me because we lost our countries before we lost our bodies, not the exiles of. Another heaven inherited me from unwritten gospel, the ghosts that wear my name pooling blood. I'd like to think my ancestors couldn't imagine this fang-sunk tongue because they've tasted their own. Because who else could know better this swallow, the expense of every bloom, a season of winded upheaval into the gardener's hands, both seed and floodwater, and this death I'd like to think is its own forgiveness, its own history. Most men like him would have wanted a family in me, in truth, had they not known of the mouths I swelled into. All we know of heresy was once divinity's unclipped wing. He transfixes his eyes on the wounds I bulleted into my own face. He grips my hand, asks, "What are you wanting?" He cooked for me after. He'd never let me leave empty-stomached, my head pillowed by stars of no flag in life. What if gratitude isn't a thinning bloodline? I thanked and serviced him behind our makeshift altar in funeral quiet. Perhaps this is the whitest I'll ever be, although he too was born on the wrong side of a wall. Empty of biology's brief mimicry, I couldn't have said I love you. Our blood pooling in moonlight, staining oceans. Come midnight, I'll wash myself, his every trace. Come morning, I won't even remember his name.